Yeah. Y'all remember this? Woo! That's right. Welcome, y'all. That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgame Air Racing Podcast, episode number 82 for Friday, January 27, 2017. Thank you for hanging out with us on a Friday. I'm Tailgame Air Rusty Wallace. I'm joining the PETM Podcast studio with Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
I got on an airplane at 4:30 a.m. Israeli time. That was like 900 hours ago.
He's back in God's country here.
Yeah, I'm in zombie form right now. So hopefully this will go okay, but, you know, he usually doesn't. So
well, we always get off the rails a little bit. Hey, how about this song, huh?
We are NASCAR.
We are NASCAR.
Sydney Lett.
Sydney Lett has cut a new version for us. She told us, y'all go ahead, use it on the podcast, license this thing out, and we can't thank her enough. This song is awesome. We love it. So, hey, this is gonna be the new sound of PETM right here.
That's right.
Man,
right.
It's exciting. Well, we're gonna have to. I'd love to sit here and listen to the next 3 minutes of it.
Pretty much the best NASCAR song ever written.
I think so. I think so. So, y'all, everybody, thanks Sydney Lett for that. When you see her on Twitter or whatever, so cool of her to do that. But before we get too deep in the water here, dude, we got a special guest today. How about that, huh?
Yeah, we do. Coming at us up there from New England, Mr. CJ Mclaughlin.
That's right. Woo! What's up, CJ?
What's happening, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. So, I think what I wrote here out of Boston by way of Boston. I don't know how I'm supposed to say it. I do terrible. You probably
Boston?
do better. By way of
Boston. It's Boston.
It's Boston. By way of Framingham, Massachusetts. Raised on the short tracks of New England. You just graduated, right? Wentworth Institute of Technology?
Yep, just graduated with a bachelor's in mechanical engineering.
Congratulations. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Man, appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's
in
awesome.
our same vein.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are engineers
Got
by
my
trade.
Georgia Tech shirt on and, all about the Institutes of Technology or what is it? Georgia Tech University.
University of Georgia
Close
Tech.
Right. Recently, you did the ARCA Daytona testing. Currently racing in the American Canadian Tour in the late models. Looking for sponsorship, running an ARCA, K&N, and maybe the trucks even. So, got a lot coming up, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But first thing we always do on this podcast, CJ, is what you drinking today.
Tonight I'm drinking a Red Bull vodka, soon to be the Monster Energy vodka, but we're going to stick with Red Bull for now.
For now. So,
attaboy!
I think he's rip-roaring harder than anybody has ever rip-roared on this show.
Clinking around. That's fun.
Yeah. It's got that background noise. Sherwin, what you got today?
Well, I raised your drink cabinet. I got Jim Beam Black and Sprite.
Yes,
courtesy of you and your wife's ability to stock the mixers up.
So what's funny, I remember I was buying that bottle, and I was standing in line at the liquor store, and the dude in front of me was just acting a little weird. Turns out I guess there was something in his head, he was a real nice guy or whatever. But the way he was acting weird, I'm holding that bottle, and they got that new bottle of Jim Beam, right? And I go from holding it by the handle to holding it by the neck. And I said, if this guy pulls anything funny, I'm pretty sure I would kill him. Like, I'm pretty sure this could straight up. This wouldn't just knock you out. That new bottle is for real, y'all. But yeah, so let's see here. I've got a Coors Light mini beer. So
Coors Light.
One of our traditions. Traditions. Yeah, right.
Your voice cracked a little bit.
Yeah, 13 there. Again right there. One of our traditions at the racetrack is drinking these little bitty beers. So how fun is it to just bring this in? Because you can drink
get hot.
They don't get hot, and you can drink like if you want to drink 18 of something. Yeah, without being
pinky out though. You got to leave that
pinky. Okay,
pinky
all right,
out,
there you go.
For sure.
Pinky's definitely out. So yeah, that's what we're drinking today. It's PETM 82. We're getting up there, Sherwin.
Wow,
82.
82. That's like the year you were born.
That's true. Yep, I was born in 1982 for sure.
Yeah.
Show my age to people or show my youngness to people. I don't know. Everybody keeps calling me, "Oh, you're so young. You're so young." At some point, they're gonna stop saying that, and that's when I think I'll feel old.
Yeah, so, what age do people start telling you that you're old?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. The white in my beard is kind of been a very
Yeah, I know what you mean. The white in my
humbling
freaking every bit of hair. So, there you go. Yeah, somebody just said babies on the Periscope. Yeah. I've been. There was a lady at my work. I'm going off the rails here. There was a lady at my work who, when I started, she said, "Oh, you're so young." And recently, she said that again. I said, "You realize I'm 5 years older than when you said that to me the first time. Like at some point, I'm no longer the young guy." Anyway.
Well, yeah, you hear some of the songs on the radio, and you're like, "Oh man, that was a good song." You know, like the music, the rock and roll we used to listen to in the '90s. You know, like played on 99X, the grungy stuff, the Nirvanas and the Soundgardens and whatnot. You're like, "Oh yeah, I know that music. That's awesome. I know every word." And you're like, "Holy crap, that was 20 years ago."
Yeah, or holy crap, that dude's 60 now, or something. You know? Oh, geez. 82 car, number 82 car. Joe Eubanks, 138 of his 159 races were in the 82 car. He raced in the 50s from 1950 to 1961. He had one win, but the win wasn't in the 82 car, unfortunately. Another winless car for us, but he did have 34 top fives in that car. It's interesting, the dichotomy. He was a dirt track guy, top 10 machine. Like, if he showed up on the dirt, forget about it. He's getting a top 10. Mm-hmm. And his plate race average was 38th.
Wow. Well, they didn't have plates till 88.
Or his whatever, super speedway races or whatever. Yeah. He served in World War II with Bud Moore and Cotton Owens in the armed forces.
Goodness gracious.
How about that?
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, those guys are. They call them Greatest Generation for a reason, I guess. But,
yeah,
jeez,
no kidding.
He passed away in 1971 at age 45. I couldn't figure out
that was a young guy.
Yeah, what the story was there. Not a whole lot of details there, but we'll raise our glass to him. Here you go,
Absolutely.
Joe Eubanks.
Rest in peace, Mr. Eubanks.
Yeah, and just to round it out too, number 82 car Scott Speed. Ran
Red Bull.
69
Red
races.
Bull.
Yeah, speaking of Red Bull, there you go. 69 races in the 82 car. He had a top 5 in it. Last thing he did last year, he ran the Global Rallycross with Andretti. He had 4 wins in that series, and apparently ran in the Audi Sport TT Cup. I don't even know anything about it, but that's what he's up to today.
Well, recall that car became the number 4.
Yes, it did.
Kane drove it.
Yep. And he had a win in that one.
Did have a win at Phoenix.
Yeah. So as we always do in the first 5-7 minutes of this thing, we completely ignore our guests. So
so
right back
CJ
to talk to CJ.
Hanging out.
CJ, why don't you tell the PETM posse here what you're up to and what the off season's like, what you're looking forward to, and how's it going?
Yep. So I just graduated, working as a field engineer on the oil and gas pipeline industry. So I'm traveling a lot, throughout the country, and right now, just looking to get sponsors together for late model races and ARCA races and maybe, K&N and truck series. So just trying to get some partners together and go take on the world, right?
Yeah, I hear you, man.
That's awesome.
That sounds real cool. Let's see here. So what's maybe we'll start at the beginning. How'd you get into racing?
So my father used to race motorcycles back in the day and wouldn't let me get on one. So when I was 10 years old, he stuck me in a 4-cylinder 4-banger and sent me up to Hudson Speedway, and I got second place in my first race. So it was kind of racing ever since then.
That a boy. That sounds awesome. Let's see.
I remember getting out of the car. I was 10 years old. I got out in a victory lane. He's at 1, 2, 3. I get out of the car, and I just remember the crowd being like, "How old is that kid? He's not even taller than the roof." So,
that's funny.
That's awesome.
That's funny. Hey, that's the way to get started right there. I love it. How about this? You've been a NASCAR. How long you been a NASCAR fan? How about that?
So here's a weird story, right? So 1993 was my first race, the Daytona 500. I was 7 months old.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So from the womb to the track, huh?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So that came from your parents. Who did your parents root for?
My dad was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. Mom wasn't really into it, I guess.
Okay.
I think she just went because my dad went.
Yeah.
But Earnhardt fans, just like everybody else and their brother,
Yeah. But did you grow up Earnhardt fan as well then?
Yeah, I kind of rooted for everybody, because just to get out on that track is a huge honor. So Tony Stewart, huge fan of his. Carl Edwards, who just retired, right?
Yep.
I like the working class, and I think that's what NASCAR is missing a lot of, is the working class hero, right? That everybody wants to look up to. So definitely Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart. So who are you rooting for now that Carl's gone, Tony's gone, etc.?
I gotta jump boats to Martin Truex. He's the most northern guy around.
Jersey, Marietta.
There you go. So I know we're jumping into this early, but we already mentioned you're Boston guy. And if you see on the Periscope right now, over the top of my head over here, there it is. I got the Rise Up flag going. We both got Falcons hats on. What's the story here?
Story is the Patriots are going to win. It's going to be a blowout, and that's how it's
blowout.
going to be, guys. I'm sorry.
Blowout.
Wow.
That's impressive.
That's a heavy hitting prediction.
That's right. I think
that's how Boston does it. We come out strong.
I think, as Atlanta sports fans, and as especially us two as Georgia Tech guys, we know how to just sort of set the pace. We stopped talking ish a long time ago, hadn't we, Sherman?
Yeah, enjoy the moment.
Keep talking like that.
Yeah.
We learned how to enjoy the moment because it is so much fun, so much more fun to not get energized into the talking crap mode, but to enjoy the spoils that come to the winner.
I think coming from 4 Super Bowl wins, we've enjoyed those spoils. So
so now you get to
that's where we're coming
to talk the crap. It's okay.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. You're not gonna bait us into talking crap. That's the thing. We're gonna cook food. We're gonna cook food until the cows come home.
Yep. The cows ain't coming home. They got cooked.
Green egg. We're gonna cook.
I think Sherman saw right through me there.
Yeah.
We're gonna eat well, we're gonna drink well, and we will hope to have a football game that will keep us happy till the end.
Yeah, at least is exciting. That's what we're looking for. An exciting game, a fun game. What can I say? Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Freeman.
So here's my stupidity. I'm talking this much crap.
Okay.
I have a flight back from Charlotte next Sunday at 6 p.m.
Oh my gosh!
Right when the Super Bowl starts.
Oh geez. Well, that's gonna
Goodness gracious.
That's gonna be an empty flight.
Yep.
Yeah. So are you gonna DVR it, or are you gonna try to? There's no way you can not know what the score is, right?
I think I'm gonna pay the $10 for the Wi-Fi on the plane and figure something out.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll stream it.
Yeah. So you'll land for the second half or something like that.
Yeah.
Watch it at the airport bar.
Yeah. I'll stay at Logan. Finish out the game there.
I gotcha. So we do have a. I'll just switch off of that at this point. And we do have a question from one of the fans, Mick Rose at GoDucks42_Mick, and I think you'll understand this question better than perhaps we did in terms of the series that you're racing in and stuff. And he says, is there any negative to using the composite body? Now, I don't know if that's something that's specific to what you're doing or anything like that, but maybe you can chat about it for a little bit.
So the ARCA series is switching over to the composite body full-time for 2018, and there was just some testing done in Daytona by one team, which was kind of surprising to me. But I think, from a professional aspect, it makes the series look more professional than taking these old beat-up cars that looked like they've been in someone's backyard for 3 years and going out racing them. I think it makes the series look more professional, and I think from a competition standpoint, it will really streamline the competition.
Okay.
In my mind, that's
what is it? More costly? Is that a concern for folks, or what's the story with it?
I think it's going to be more costly. In the beginning, I think just like in racing, everything at face value is more costly. But I think to a sponsor's eyes, you show up with a composite car, and it kind of looks better than what a steel body car would look like.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure. Like even those K&N touring series that have been using composite bodies for a while now, they look really sharp.
Mm-hmm.
They look like somebody bought a used Cup car.
Yeah.
But it ends up, it's a composite body. I would imagine that the autoclave and all the effort to put the vinyl on it and stuff, the stickers and stuff, is more expensive initially, but You beat and bang a little bit, and the composite body probably holds up a little bit better than sheet metal in terms of having to do work after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Well, definitely. And then we're talking about plate races where aerodynamics matter, and you bring steel body that weighs a little less. And that's what we're going to really see at the race in Daytona. Come February is the steel body versus the composite body, which I think only one team's going to run. So we'll really see how that plays out because the steel body cars are going to weigh less, and the composite body cars are going to weigh more actually because of the way the rules are laid out.
Okay, so you think that they'll actually weigh more, or will the composite body teams be allowed to put weight distribution where they want it versus hanging steel bodies?
I think the composite bodies are gonna, they're gonna put it where they want it to go.
Yeah, that's what I would have assumed. That you kind of have to come in a window on the scales, but if you're hanging a steel body or even an aluminum body, you're still hanging more weight than a composite, so you can't put a little extra tungsten in the left rear corner.
Yes, that $800 4-pound or whatever it was that Tommy was telling us about. So, who does your cars? Who does your tech and stuff?
What do you mean?
Like who is mechanically? Who's the mechanic working on the cars? Is that you?
That's me and a few friends of mine that all kind of chip in on Tuesday nights.
Oh wow! Well, that's cool. So y'all just sort of hang out, listen to music, and do it, or is it a an all-day sort of thing?
It's we're really busy living in the city. Kind of just got so much going on. But we kind of organize Tuesday nights. Like we go down to the shop and get something going. The past few months there's been no work done to the car, but starting back up in February, excuse me, we're gonna start get going again.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, as a recent graduate in the Boston area, I got to imagine you've got some favorite bars in Boston. Why don't you tell us about those?
Yeah, so I used to actually work down at a few bars. Working the door. Lansdowne Street is a great area to go to. It's right by Fenway Park. And Lansdowne Pub, Loretta's Last Call, which is a great country bar. And there's quite a few bars in Boston to hit up.
Country bar up in Boston.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I thought I was in Boston in early May of 2016, and the Harpoon Tap Room seemed like a pretty cool spot.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. It's right in the seaport too, where you get the
whole
seaport area.
Yeah. It was cool. It was like it's like what I had seen as a kid when I went with my folks to Austria. And not so much Germany, but same thing, really. You see these, it's basically like a brew house.
Yeah.
And they offer like two things. It's like you can get like a sausage style
or get the pretzel
sandwich, you know, like a kielbasa or whatever they call it. And then you can get a gigantic beer.
Yeah.
And then there was like picnic tables
a mile long
for 100 yards.
Oh, that's fun.
But at the Harpoon, you had all these great beer. That was the difference. They had like
it wasn't all
really awesome beers.
Ryan Gestalt beer.
Yeah, it wasn't all Warsteiner.
We had some friends. We had some friends up, and we tried going there. It was last January. The high temperature for that day was 5 degrees, and there was a line, like 100 people long to get in there.
Oh man,
it was 5 degrees outside.
Yeah, we went at like 3 o'clock. So let's say this is a Wednesday, because it probably was a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And it was like yuppies front to center.
Yeah,
I mean, it was. These were they all looked like professionals, but it was 3:30. It was like, do you not have a job, or is your company awesome? Like I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I can't believe you guys use yuppies down there. I thought that was a Boston thing.
Oh, I don't
know. No, yuppies. I learned that from my dad.
Right. The hippie.
No, it's
hippie hipsters.
Young hippie, whatever it is. Yuppie. Yeah. I don't know.
Young and Money, I think is what they call it.
Yeah, I actually went to that brewery off of the cruise ship right there in the port. So we did that Northeast cruise thing. I called it the Clampets Go to New York.
Oh, that's right. You did Allagash too, didn't you?
With my family. Yeah. We did. Well, me and Serena, my wife, we just sort of turned the whole thing into a brewery tour. So that was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's talk NASCAR. How about it?
Oh, yeah.
Have we talked any NASCAR yet? I don't know.
Probably not.
27 minutes into the show.
20 minutes.
Let's get
that
some
happens.
NASCAR
Yeah,
going.
let's do it. Apparently there's some new rules. That's what I heard.
Somebody said. I think Bob Pockruss wrote like a dissertation.
He did. And if you need to know what what the rules are, it's silly for me to just sit here and read his article to you. But that was a great article in terms of, I think he asked everybody all the questions he could think of. I still have a couple questions, but that might be because I hadn't been paying enough attention for the clarifications on him. But I thought what we could do is sort of walk through different parts of it and talk about what we think about each of those parts. What do you think, Sherwin?
Yeah, it would probably benefit everybody, both who's involved in this particular intimate conversation and who's listening or will listen, for us not to get too deep into the detail.
Yeah.
Because it's probably going to change during the season. You know what I mean? It's probably not going to stay the same. But
or at least
it's clearly different than it was. I think we're going to have this segmented deal.
So 3 segments to a race. CJ, what do you think?
So I think that NASCAR really had to do something of changing it up. I don't think that this was necessarily the right call to make. They've been doing the same thing for over 4 years now. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result is a definition of insanity, right?
Yeah,
and with them
that's
losing
engineering
fans by the droves, it doesn't help. Especially and with Monster Energy coming in, they want a younger crowd for a younger audience to start watching a race. So they really needed something to almost shorten up a race, because that's what they're doing, right? They're creating 3 segments within a one whole race. So with the attention span of a 14-year-old who's on Snapchat 24 hours a day and has a 10-second attention span, they needed to make a race. I think they should shorten the race. Bottom line, I think they should shorten the race.
Interesting. Yeah. So I think it's a cool throwback to what races used to be, which is something that NASCAR tries to do a lot. Is either the throwback or give some attention to their older fans while, like you said, CJ, trying to bring in new fans. I think I think the segmented part is a cool idea. I think it's something that will that what they're trying with it, I guess, and I think it's a good idea in terms of trying to keep people's attention the entire race. For somebody like me, I don't think you had to do that, but I can see how they're saying, look, we got to keep people's attention span, 40 laps into a 340-lap race. How are we going to keep them watching from lap 40 to lap 160, for example? Well, now they've given you a payoff, if you will, in that first section there. Sherwin?
Yeah, well, I think, for hardcore fans, they're going to watch every lap of every race anyway. It makes it very challenging to give feedback based on changes and stuff. I think one of the things that we should take from this is that NASCAR is working very closely with their TV partners.
Yep.
To develop a system where they don't go to commercial under green nearly as often as they have in the past. I think one of the things you and I have both, we've texted during races and laughed that we have we'll be at not Atlanta because you and I will be in the stands for that, but say it's Phoenix or Richmond or whatever the next races are, is we're 7 or 8 laps past where we started the race and they're going to commercial.
Yeah.
It's like, really? We got 3 minutes of green flag racing and now we're going to commercial?
Yeah, for 3.5 minutes, and then we come back and it's lap 12 or something.
Yeah,
you realize I've only
half
seen
the time you come back and it's under yellow.
Yeah,
it's like, what the hell
somebody's
happened?
Upside down and climbing out of their car.
Yeah, so I think
a darker side to the whole segmentation too is they're hoping that cautions will breed cautions, and while that sucks for a driver and a fan too that loves like close action racing, when I bring my friends to a race, they just want to see the crash. When you're bringing a new person that knows really nothing about NASCAR but the highlights of the crashes and stuff, they just like going to a hockey game and expecting a fight. That's like, I think that's the equivalent there.
I think that's a good
very
analogy.
Interesting analogy.
Yeah, that's a very good analogy. I think that's the hook in a lot of ways, or part of the hook is, all right, now you see the crashes. Your next step is, all right, now you're following some guy. And now you're starting to see strategies and stuff, and eventually you get to the point where like, oh, I don't want to see a crash right now. No, a wreck would be terrible. Or you're thinking of it in terms of strategy instead of, let's see cars barreling down, backwards and upside down and all that. So that's a very good analogy and a very good point. It sucks for the drivers.
Tell me if I'm going off track here, but
never going off track on the PETM podcast.
Recent college kid, right?
Yeah,
bringing his buddies to a race. we spend $200 for the, per person, right?
Yep.
How many college kids can go to a race and spend that much money at a given weekend? They have to lower the cost all around. It's not even the cost of the ticket. It's the cost of the hotel, the food, and everything. The beer, beer's whatever, right? You pay whatever for a beer.
Or bring it.
When it all adds up, it sucks. You can't. Oh yeah, we did that once. Would I do it again? Maybe not. But I'm a diehard fan, so I'm going to do it every time. But when you're trying to get new people into the sport and trying to convince them, yeah, guys, let's go spend $200. Oh, maybe we did that last year. Let's go spend $50 at a Sox game. Okay, that's a deal.
I think that's very poignant in terms of Sherwin, you and I, right after graduating college. Or maybe you were still in college.
Yeah, well, no, I mean...
But you remember, we had groups of 20 people coming. And I think it's exactly what CJ just said, which is they came to the race, they spent their money, they had their fun, and, they're camping out and drinking and blowing up and having a great time. But I think that's exactly what happens, is the next year they go, well, do we do the NASCAR thing again? No, let's go to the lake. Or, no, let's go do this other thing.
Or Monster Jam or Supercross or whatever.
And so...
Go up to Road Atlanta and Brazelton. I mean, just it's an event. They've chalked up an event where they want to spend some money.
Mm-hmm.
And one year it might be AMS and going to the race, the NASCAR race, Atlanta Motor Speedway. But maybe it doesn't hook them because they don't see exactly what they want to see. I think that's what you're saying is, how do we get them to say, that's the event I want to spend that $200 on? Every year.
Well,
every year.
I think to CJ's point right here is it needs to not be $200. It needs to be.
I think it's a combination of both. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to spend that amount of money, that X amount, right? We're all engineers here. What's that X that's going to get us to the racetrack, right?
Yep.
And then what's that X that's going to get the sponsor involved in the racing?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's a good question.
As a driver, you're thinking sponsorship as a business to business. But it's really a business to consumer because you have to get that person to buy into you. You have to get that person and the brand to buy into you. So when you bring them, say you get a sponsor for one race, you bring them to the race. Oh yeah, that was great. But are you going to get them the year after and the year after? So
it's a good question, and that's something that I think Talladega does so well in terms of you go there. If you have a ticket to the race, you camp for free all weekend. So there goes. If you compare to like Atlanta, where we have camped for 10 years, but hadn't in the last couple because kind of cold out.
Yeah, a lot of cuss words.
Yeah, a lot of cuss words there.
Those decisions.
But the fact that in Atlanta we have to buy 2 spots, and they're $100-something a piece, and if it's just us two, you can't fit a truck.
It's more expensive than a hotel room.
Yeah. At some point, it's like, why don't we just get a hotel up the road for $60 instead? And that takes us off campus. Which means the more people that are going off campus, the less stuff that you're going to have. Like you're not going to have your late night concerts and stuff like that. So,
I do applaud NASCAR for dropping the kids 12 and under for free. I think that was a great move by them because when you're going to the races, we're talking about bringing friends and stuff, but sometimes when you're an older family, you're bringing your 8 kids, or how many kids you have, your cousins and everyone. I think that was a great move by them.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. I think that's a really good avenue to getting young kids involved in the sport. I think NASCAR actually does a good job for the kids that we call kids, like the 12 and unders.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like NASCAR does a pretty good job at that. It's 13 to 25 that they struggle with. And maybe Monster will help with that. Maybe this new segmented format will help with that. I mean, that's what we would want. I mean, we can sit here and be old guard and go, oh, this sucks. I hate it. It's not the same thing it was in 1997 when Dale Earnhardt. That's all stupid. That's stupid.
Matt Kenseth, right?
Yeah, Matt Kenseth was a rookie.
So I want to talk about more about like people retiring because I think that Dale Earnhardt is going to retire after 2017, and I think that NASCAR really needs to put their eggs in the younger basket crab.
Well, that's a good segue.
Well,
into that.
I mean, I think there's a lot of. I mean, so to attach that to not a segue, but just an attachment piece to accompany it, I think we're all looking around to see, is Chase Elliott going to win most popular driver while Dale Earnhardt Jr. is still driving.
And
Interesting that's question. Sort of is there a prop bet in Vegas for that?
I would take.
I mean, I don't know.
I would take the junior side.
Put a Benji on that and say maybe he is. If he wins this year, I'd put a Benji on it.
There's that's an interesting conspiracy theory. I feel like Dale Jr. is going to have a walk-off season. Like he's going to announce it well beforehand. I'm not sure he'll pull a Carl Edwards.
I don't think he's going to pull a Greg Biffle for sure.
Yeah, definitely not Greg Biffle.
Or Carl Edwards.
Yeah. I feel like he would have a last call season beforehand. But I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want that attention. I don't know.
Well, I think the only way we don't see a last call Dale Jr. season is if he gets another concussion.
Oh, if there's, yeah.
And doctors say you got to give it up.
Yeah.
So here's the thing with that. I'm a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. I'm not trying to bash him right now, but he is legitimately 1 to 2 concussions away. He has another concussion. He's out for another 3 races. He comes back maybe 2 to 3 races again. Boom, another accident, and he's done for the rest of the season. How many more seasons can he go on like that?
I don't disagree with that at all. I was going to say he's got 1 concussion left, and that's the last one he'll.
And I would be officially surprised if Amy isn't already pregnant, by the way, which would make his decision even easier.
Well, there's that too.
Because he wants to be a present dad.
Yeah. So, no, all good points. And it started off with 3 stages in the playoff, or 3 stages in each race. And we didn't really talk about it, but there's playoff implications at each stage, or championship points, which kind of gets us into the part 2.
Yeah, how about the duels? How about we're going to score some points for the championship in the duels?
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. So give people a reason to
fun.
Mash the gas and have some fun there. So that was something that came up a few times, by the way, and just kind of closing out the whole 3 stages thing. That NASCAR keeps saying it will give us better rate. I don't know how to say it. Maybe
Please
better.
Don't say better racing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say better racing. But give the guys a reason to want to race harder. And then you hear the people like I think Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch are always first to say, "There's nothing you can do that will make me want to win more. Like there's no gimmick. There's nothing you can add to."
Well, that's what Junior Tech. He tweeted that out. He's like,
yeah.
Oh, this new format's going to make us race harder, like LOL.
Yeah. Like, now, what I would say...
Come on, man.
What I would say to contradict that a bit is that maybe sometimes your strategy, especially like plate tracks or something, might not be to be up front 30 laps into the race or 40 laps into the race, whatever they're doing. Now,
oh, you mean Joe Gibbs?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, you have some incentive to do that. You're giving up potential for some points if you're not top 10 at that point. So I think
10 points is worth a lot.
Yeah, for championship points, yeah. It's worth a quarter of a win, essentially. You know, jeez.
Exactly.
So I think it won't make them want to win more, but it changes their strategy to win.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys, but it doesn't seem right, and it doesn't I wouldn't say that they're appealing to the fans here. I think they're appealing more towards their broadcast partners of having a set commercial time, and I don't think it will benefit in the long run. I think they're going to benefit more from the Monster Energy partnership more so than their new format of stage racing.
Oh well, that's another good point there.
Well, I think it's definitely more about the TV stuff than it is about getting fans interested. In all honesty, that's where I'm at. Someone
made the remark like, "Oh, you're gonna not get up for your bowl of popcorn because your driver is in the lead." I don't care. I'm gonna see it in the 3 replays that they're gonna show over commercial or after commercial break when they're still driving around on caution laps, which is fine because I'm happy that they're going to commercial and caution laps. That's fine with me. But that's not going to make me not get up and get another beer.
Well, I'll say this.
I said the same thing on Twitter yesterday. I said, I mean, if I'm thirsty, I'm getting a beer.
Well,
I'm hitting pause.
Oh well, there's that too.
But I have the scanner audio on my laptop going.
Yeah,
and it stays live always.
I'll contradict y'all both here. Because favorite driver Casey Kane, if he's leading a lap, which he hadn't done in over a year,
I'm going to not lead a lap in 2016.
I'm going to be glued to the TV for every second that he's leading the lap because I don't get to see that much.
I'll pause it and go get a beer and come back and turn it back on.
No, I'm just having fun with that. But I don't know. I could maybe it's analogous to like the drivers saying we're not going to race any harder. I'm not going to watch any harder. I already watched my maximum.
I watched pretty hard.
So yeah, there's no maybe.
I've torn a muscle watching a race.
Yeah. So, but maybe my strategy for watching a race is different too, right? Their strategy for winning the race is different.
Well, sometimes our strategy is we don't even watch Talladega.
Well, there's that. But maybe I finished my beer with 10 laps to go in this segment. I'll go grab a fresh one as opposed to whatever. So maybe there's some analogies there. So let's talk about the point systems. And notice I use plural there. Systems. I find it interesting that back in whenever it was that they went to the system that was, all right, you know what? You win the race, you get 42 points or whatever it was at the time.
Yeah. That was like in 09 or 10.
Yeah. And they said enough of this, like 180 points to win, 168 for second, 159 for third,
you get like 199 points if you did if you checked all the boxes.
Yeah, and people can't keep up with all that, blah, blah, blah. But they went to that, all right, you know exactly how many points your guy's going to get based on where he finishes, and that's that. And they said that they kept trumpeting that as a, hey, look, this is so much easier now. And now they've turned it into something that's, I would say, even harder than the original.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing my own horner, but I'm an engineer, and I still don't get the not the green white checker anymore. What do they call it? The
overtime, NASCAR overtime.
I still don't understand that.
There's plenty to scratch your head on with there. It goes back to like, well, the start finish line isn't really where we start or finish. Because the finish line is really more like back on the backstretch over there, except when it's not, and it's at the finish line.
Except when it's not, yeah. Except when it's not, and it's painted over there right after turn 2, and then we carry the 2 and divide by 3.
Square root somewhere.
Yeah.
I think pi.
Are there imaginary numbers? Are we doing like minus the square root of 1?
I don't know. We're getting deep there.
Nerd. No, and that's what we do, which is fun.
What's the majority NASCAR fan? The majority NASCAR fan is a blue-collar guy who likes to watch racing, right? Likes fast cars. Do you think he's really paying attention to the point system?
No.
Not
at all.
And it's going to piss off that guy even more in that, he watches at the end of it, all right, had a good day, or my guy won, or whatever.
You can hear him. So in the background going, what the hell?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, your guy won the race, but he didn't get as many points as the guy who like almost won but did good halfway through. Yeah, you get that. Turn your head. What the hell?
I also get really confused when NASCAR saying, "Oh, we're paying attention to the fan." What fan are they listening to? Who's telling them?
That's such a good question.
All the stuff they want to see.
We're both fan council members, and I struggle to respond to their surveys because I don't feel like I'm their target audience. Based on their bell curve, the NASCAR's target audience is a 55 to 65-year-old male who hates everything they do. But somehow still watches.
They're trying to get the 18 to 49.
Yeah.
But the problem is they have us already. It's how to get new people. So I don't think anybody while watching a race is going to have a clue, at least for the first while, on what the points system is. All right, we're doing our 3 segments. Hey, cool, my guy won the first segment. All right, I get to high five my buddies on that. Your guy won the race. Hey, you get to be excited about that. When we do pick'ems, are we gonna have to pick like each segment now?
I don't know.
I ain't doing that.
I'm done with fantasy NASCAR. Just like I done with fantasy golf, done with fantasy everything else.
But
CJ, you sound like you wanted to add something there.
I'm just all fired up. So when you're talking about the 18 to maybe 35 demographic, that demographic is on Netflix, is on everything but pretty much live TV, right? So no one really watches a commercial anymore, and they don't have the patience to sit through a commercial. So it's really a hard sell for them, right? Because everyone downloads everything now. It's like it's so NASCAR has to step up their game 200%. I appreciate the changes, and I might sound like a broken record here too, but they have to make it so intriguing for a fan to become a fan.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, and I think a lot of people would say, or have said over the past, let's call it a decade, is that NASCAR was losing out to other live sports, and that's just not true. Especially now, like you said, CJ. Yep. It's not that these kids are watching other sports. It's that they're not watching sports at all.
Right.
So how do you get them interested in a sport like NASCAR that has as much discrepancy, as much propensity for commercials, as much propensity for what appears to be at times, a very boring product. Unless you know exactly what's happening, there are a lot of times that NASCAR appears to be very boring. Kind of like golf, kind of like baseball.
Tommy Joe touched on it last week. You get an actual diehard NASCAR fan watching a truck series race because you actually know that those guys are wheeling around a 3,800-pound truck at 180 miles an hour. That's awesome. I love the truck races, but to convince somebody, oh yeah, we're gonna watch truck races, like that's and the other thing too is an 18 to 35-year-olds is at a bar on a Friday night. Yeah, it's prime TV, but like we gotta sell that harder.
Trucks is the best show they put on.
It's the best show in NASCAR.
It's the best show in NASCAR, and they should be marketing it like that, not as an under series. Which
and to CJ's
I feel like it gets.
Point, to CJ's point is it's most often on Friday nights, which is a bar night for the demographic that you want to capture.
And that's just a world I'm coming from. Like across the country, it's completely different too. But where I'm coming from, Boston's a major market, and when you have to hit a major market, you have to hit it hard and. It might be on at the bar for a half hour, but they're going to change it to something else.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And on the times and all that, heck, that's why Eldora is Wednesday. Like and I believe Bristol fall race is Wednesday, isn't it, Sherwin?
The August race.
That's why we never get to see it.
That's why we don't get to see it because it's 3 days before we get there.
Yeah. But
yeah, no, you're right.
That's a good point.
Guys,
I'm
skipping around a little bit on you. I'm just all pumped up from the Red Bull.
Oh no, it's all good.
No, it's fine.
So I'm with you there on we're putting our best show on, and what we ought to market as the best show in racing is the truck series, and we're putting that on right over the top of when other stuff happens. Hey, look at us! We're doing a podcast on Friday night. And however many people want to show up, we love y'all for coming on. But the fact that other people might not be on tonight because hey, I had something to do. It's Friday night, Yeah, I get it. We had some butthole was in Israel all week.
I don't know what his name is. He's standing over there in the corner. I think. Excuse me.
For our new fans, you might not know. So Sherwin and I both work just very coincidentally both work for Israeli companies, and I've been over there before. And if you catch one of our early on episodes of PETM, I actually broadcasted from my hotel in Jerusalem, and we called it
one in the 20s, I think.
Yeah, we called it the first NASCAR podcast that was ever hosted from Jerusalem. So
yeah, for sure it was.
That was fun. So we've both been over there. I know what that flight's like. He just got off it, so holy crap.
Oh man.
Yeah, I picked him up from the train station. And brought him here to drink my beer and talk NASCAR.
I arrived at Ben Gurion International Airport at 2:00 this morning Israeli time.
Yeah. Ugh, holy cow!
And I've only mildly slept.
Yeah. So let's see here. We'll get to let's see what's the next part of it. Playoff points versus championship points. We've talked about that a little bit. I don't know what Sherwin. I don't know. I don't know what to say about the points. We just have to watch it and see what happens.
Well, to your point, what we were saying is it's going to be a challenge for anybody to keep up with it real time.
Yeah.
So whether you're at the racetrack or at home, I think what's really going to matter is when we get into August and early September, and people are trying to figure out, wait a minute, if this guy can win stage 1, stage 2, and the race, he gets 65 points.
Yep.
And he can put 25 points on second place or whatever.
Yep.
Like, now that changes the game quite a bit. And we're not going to realize the significance of these changes until we get to that moment where we go to Darlington and we go to Richmond, and we're like, "Holy shit, what's going to happen next?"
Yeah.
And
so let's see here. Here's the part where I have questions, right? So they say the top 10 drivers in championship points at the end of the regular season now get bonus playoff points. So I guess that's your incentive for finishing top in points.
Order gets a reward.
So it's actually adding points racing back into the mix again to a degree, right?
We've always had points racing.
Well, you're right. But
and that was an undercut to you.
No, I'd say before there were only maybe 3 or 4 guys running for points, and now everybody's kind of running for points. Although I guess winning,
not
you get
really though, because they
stuff,
said if you get the win and you're in the top 30, it's still the same thing we've always.
So that's the trump card again. So what are we doing?
This is the thing that NASCAR does that gets. I think it gets people like you and me really excited and annoyed at the same time. Is why create all this extra confusion? Like, why is this necessary? So I don't know. CJ, what do you think?
I wash my hands of this thing, man. I just watch who wins a race. You lost me. You guys lost me talking about it. So never mind falling on our face.
I hear you. So let's see. I don't know what to say there, other than let's move on to the next one. So can't replace body panels during a race.
I love it.
I do
love
too.
it.
Yeah.
I love it so much as NASCAR not black flagging somebody when they've lost too many body panels.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. So if you've lost too many of them, and you don't want to go trying to, you can't go in to replace them, and then they're going to black flag you or something. Yeah, I can see that. Sherwin?
Well, the thing I like about it is that the last thing I want to see, the thing I get most annoyed about is somebody running 39th and causes 3 cautions because they cut tires repeatedly on big courses, on cars that were not competitive. They were never going to be competitive, and they should be in the garage. So I think this is one step closer to getting that car to stay in the garage.
Yeah, I'm with you there. CJ?
I agree.
Yep. So all around, that was definitely a good move. Another question I had. So this is where Rusty gets confused again. They said playoff points go all the way to the 3rd round, but they didn't really explain what in the world that means. So I have 30 playoff points, which I don't even know what a big number of playoff points really is. Let's say I have 30. And they were like, well, that goes all the way into the 3rd round. Unless, people are winning it, you can win to get in the next round, but then your playoff points still go. But it's like, what does that mean? What does that do? So are you automatically almost guaranteed a bye to the finish if you have a boatload of playoff points? Or I don't get that.
Were they talking more on the chase contention round, or?
Yes. Yeah. What formerly called the chase. Now they're calling the playoffs or whatever.
Now it's just the playoffs.
Yeah. But I don't really get that part either, what that means,
Guys, I'm lost on this too. I watched 2 replays of them explaining the rules, and I still not following here.
3 engineers. I got an A in calculus 3 back in the day.
I got a B.
There you go.
So, I took it 3 times, but I finally got a B.
Differential equations was my tough one.
Yeah,
seeing that one.
Oh, okay. Diffie Q's.
I got a D in Diffie Q's.
Oh man. So it looks like the Periscope feed has just taken a dump on us there.
Unfortunately,
I'm blaming Periscope on this one because everything else is running real smooth. So I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Neither one of my phones would ever connect to it, so I don't think it's Periscope.
Yeah. Well. Who knows? We'll figure it out eventually. Let's just keep moving. This will be everywhere else on Earth. I don't know. Anything else about the new rules, Sherwin?
No, to hell with the new rules. Let's move on. We can't change them.
What about the length of the season?
Oh goodness!
Well, I guess
talked about this before.
Yeah, they haven't really changed anything.
They made no efforts to change anything there. So I don't know that there's a lot of new stuff to talk about the length of the season.
I say keep it the same though. If everyone, if anyone like talks about changing it, I say keep it the same because that's a huge selling point to a sponsor is the longevity of the sport in a fiscal year.
That's good perspective.
It is a good perspective. I think the length we've talked about before, it goes into other sports, and so people are going to lose interest come September, October. September you're winding down baseball and kicking off football, and it's hard to be relevant at that point in the year with against that sort of stuff.
Good point.
Yeah, it would. I don't know how they would do it, but it would be a hell of a lot better if they could end the season within the first 2 weeks of September. I think that the audience would be, your potential audience would be bigger.
I agree.
So let's see. We have let's move on past the points then. We have Michael Waltrip in the Daytona 500. How about that, Sherwin?
His 30th.
30th. Holy cow.
With Aaron's sponsorship.
Wow.
He's winding up his career. This is going to be his last race, according to him. A race he's won twice under very interesting conditions. One, obviously, we lost Dale Earnhardt, and then 2 years later, he won under a rain-shortened event. But he won. His only 2 Cup races were 2 Daytona 500s. That's a very weird statistic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that he doesn't get past lap 50.
Lap 50, okay. So
and
there's
he also crashes in one of the duels.
And actually, you know what? I just made a mistake there. He won 3 races. One, he did win a Talladega race. They were all at plate races, but 2 of them were Daytona 500s. You're probably right, CJ. I think we've seen this before. Michael is an extremely good plate racer, but he's going to be in a car that probably is going to be closer to the front than what they're capable of building because he's a really good plate racer, and eventually that car is going to give up on him. And there's going to be a wreck.
And I like Michael Waltrip. Like, I'm a huge fan of that guy. Great guy, right? Nice.
Great ambassador of the sport, really. Yeah.
Yep. But how old is he now?
53, I want to say.
53. So you're going with his age on the over-under for for number of laps. You know what? I'm a big enough fan, and I always vote with my heart. I'm taking the over. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. So, there's one question that we always ask every person when they come on the show, and so figured, we have to ask you as well. And I love this one, and it's cool how it comes into light with the recent changes that have happened. And we always ask, if you could change one thing about NASCAR, CJ, what would you change? And it could be butts in the seats, eyeballs on the TV, or just something that you'd like to see happen.
I might go on a Tommy Joe Martin rant here about the economics of it. But just the cost of entry. The cost of entry for a race and just the tire cost. It's astronomical. When I approach a sponsor, I say, "Hey, I need $60,000 for one race." They go, and they hang up the phone right there.
Yeah.
So,
we could hire somebody for a year or sponsor you for a day.
Right. So that's when talking about the Super Bowl and everything. People and brands are spending $2 million on a 30-second ad and doing a Super Bowl when you can get that amount for a whole year. I think has to be relevant to its viewership and has to come across to the brand as what they want to do.
Yeah.
So if I could change one thing, I would change the cost right off the bat.
I love it, and I love that we're hearing that more and more from drivers and more from folks, and bring some attention to it. Shoot, you mentioned Tommy Joe last week. We called it Spit and Fire with Tommy Joe because he was on fire, but I think he also garnered some attention on that, and has told some other folks, the people who are watching, the feedback that he's gotten for what he was saying on there was really cool to see on Twitter and stuff.
Well, listen to this. Listen, I'm a recent college grad. My dad's a truck driver. I don't have any money behind me. I have sponsor money. I have Eagle Leasing Company that's been with me since I was 10 years old. I owe everything I have to them. so I'm going to give everything I have back to them.
Yep.
But other than that, I'm going from race to race trying to find sponsorship. I don't have my family business to fall back on. And oh, hey, I don't have sponsorship this race. We're going to have to take out of this pile and put it into this pile. If I don't have sponsorship, I'm not racing. Right. And that's like baseline with me. Right. And that's a story for so many people out there, and they're not telling it.
Yep. Yep. So it's good to hear that story repeated again here. So, yeah.
100%.
Let's talk about. Let's see. We've got a few things here. Sherwin, you've got a question from the Youngers clan over there.
That's right.
The Junkers of Youngers, as we're calling it.
Yeah, we've added a segment. The first one was last episode. So Junkers with Youngers, kind of a fun segment here. You have to be handcuffed to one member of your team for 72 straight hours. Who would you not want to be handcuffed to? Who is that person and why?
You're talking about drivers, I guess?
Yeah, I think this is – so, CJ, this is specific to you. Anybody on your team, and you've already said that you have a small team, so which one of the guys in that garage would you not want to be handcuffed to for 72 hours,
I think I've been handcuffed to one of them for 2 hours. That's one thing. Oh, man. My good buddy Nick Egan, Andrew Gavin. It goes between those two. Nick Egan, Austin Spear. Me and him would figure out how to get out of the handcuffs. He's a fellow engineer of mine, so we'd try to break the cuffs somehow. But probably Nick, because we'd harass some cops and we'd do some bad stuff. But Nick Egan.
All right, Nick, if you're out there,
don't get handcuffed to this guy for 72 hours.
Yeah.
Brings us to our stranger Stang. So Ashley J. Stang. She asks us, she's a K&N owner, and she always sends us something off the wall. Something
Should I get my girlfriend and her sister
Stang Racing.
Yes. Yeah.
Bring him in. Go for it. While you're doing that, as a matter of fact, we got to give a shout-out to our friends over at Lap Traffic, the Lap Traffic podcast guys. Yeah. We have a little Super Bowl bet.
One of your airplane balls. I'll replace it.
We have a little Super Bowl bet with those guys. One of them, I believe, the professor over there, as he's called, he is the professor. He's a big Pats fan, and of course, we're both Atlanta Falcons fans here. And so the bet on our side is, I said, if the Falcons were to not win the game for some weird reason, I would do the next podcast after that in a Pats jersey.
That's ambitious.
And I even posted on Twitter. I said, that's worth like $1,000 to me. By the way, like that's $1,000 bet. That's an equivalent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. That's a prize.
We got the whole crew. We got Kim, Sam, and Pete back here.
All right.
What's up?
So the other end of the bet, which they haven't confirmed yet. They confirmed that yes, we're going to do something, and they got to bring it back to me. I'm not sure yet, but I told them, how about on the other side of the bet? You play the Atlanta Falcons Rise Up theme song for the first 30 seconds of your podcast next time.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. But we've got
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep. So we've got that going. So here's we've got the ladies in town. Hello, everybody. The stranger Stang question. All right. So CJ, we'll let you answer it first. So you're about to meet the parents of your girlfriend, wife, future wife for the first time. No pressure on you for this, by the way. But you have to choose an outfit of the Village People's attire that you have to go to dinner in for that one. You have to pick one and spend the weekend with them. And your only excuse, if you're asked about it, is you just have to say, oh, no, this is just how I dress.
Oh, man. I'm going to choose the politically correct way of saying this. I would choose a Native American outfit.
Okay.
I got to be most comfortable in my own skin with that. I don't know.
Okay. And your girlfriend back there, what would she think?
We got a whole crowd back there.
That's right.
3 people.
Shows up decked out in the Native American outfit.
Pocahontas or whatnot.
Yeah. Didn't he have?
If I would wear a Pocahontas outfit?
No, if he wore that at home.
Oh, so impressed. My mother would love that.
With mom and dad. Perfect. Sherwin, I had trouble with this one. So she told us we're not allowed to pick the cowboy, which obviously that would have been
right. We weren't allowed to pick the
that would have been
cowboy.
easy. That might have been how I was dressed the first time anyway. There ain't no telling. So we got like construction worker, GI, and the guy who I'm going to pick just to be off the wall, the leather guy. Like, I don't think he had a name. It was just like he was the leather guy. He had all the.
Motorcycle guy.
I'm not sure what his. I'm not sure what his deal was.
Wait, there was the Native American in there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you had the Indian guy, the construction guy, the leather guy, the cop guy, and the GI.
I could have
Construction guy.
Damn it.
Oh, the construction guy is awesome.
Yeah. Construction guy's where it's at. He's a cool guy. So anyway, Sherwin, what's yours? What are you doing?
What is the one that's the funniest?
I thought leather guy. Leather guy is just, he's got the...
Is there a ballerina? Because that would be funny.
I don't think so. You get construction guy, cop, or GI.
Oh, I'm going to be the cop.
Like,
to hell with it.
Like, you're going to be in, like, the cop uniform or, like...
Mirror aviators.
There you go.
Yeah, mirror aviators with that, like, like the motorcycle cop helmet thing, the chin strap. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
We're completely off the rails here now on the PETM podcast. Might as well. Ashley J. Stang, as always, love you for doing that one. Let's start closing it out, though. And CJ, thanks so much for being on. The last thing we always do on the podcast when we got somebody, give the floor up to you. Tell everybody where they can find you, what you're doing, what you're up to, and how they can support you.
Yeah, definitely. Find me on cjmclaughlin.net and then at cjmclaughlin3 at Twitter and Instagram.
And Instagram.
Race in the Act Series, and I think we're going to shoot for the Bristol late model race coming up in May.
Very cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that'll be super sweet. All right.
What do they call it? Hey, CJ, what are they calling that thing? They got a really cool name for that weekend.
The Short Track Nationals, I believe.
Short Track Nationals.
Short Track Nationals.
That's going to be
Very
really cool.
Well, guys, let's close it down here. I'll tell you what, though. We got friends all over town now, man, and it's really fun to see this whole space growing and see people coming in. Big shout out and congratulations to Jeff Gluck. Obviously, he doesn't need us by any means, but it's really cool to see what he's doing. Always want to throw our support out to him. Yep, going independent. That's so cool. He's starting up a podcast, so that's going to be really neat to hear and listen to there. I already talked about our friends over at Lap Traffic. Long time relationship with us and those dudes over at Right Sides Only Radio. Always fun talking with them. And
Evan and Cliff.
And we we're like texting with them back and forth all during the week about all kinds of topics. So really cool to have the community here. Seth Eves and Matt, also the professor.
Oh, Matt Owens, yeah. I think he likes Maria Sharapova, but I'm not sure.
I think I've seen it. So, doing their thing. So really, I just kind of had that good, I love everybody feeling today on what a community there is going on right now. So great to have everybody on board. CJ, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to,
thank you guys for having me.
For the first time ever, we're going to officially close out with the song here.
Sydney Lett,
y'all.
We are NASCAR.
Thank you so much for joining. Hey, y'all know what to do. You can follow us at PETM Podcast. Go to PETMPodcast.com. Find us on iTunes. Find us on Google. Find us on everything. And I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace at Tailgate Mayor.
And I am Andrew Sherwin at Pregame ENG.
And we're going to talk to y'all next week.
I wish I went with the construction worker. I wish I went with the construction worker.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Good ending. You'll hear yourself say it if you listen to it, but at the very end we did catch your. Oh, I should have gone with construction guy. So that's a perfect send off. Oh, Sherwin, damn it! I forgot to.
What did we miss something?
No, the question for next week.
Oh shit! No, we got to do it now on Periscope.
We'll do it on the Periscope.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so we didn't announce it on the live show that people will hear on iTunes and whatever, but we've got Spencer Boyd next week. So in the spirit of Jeff Gluck's 12 questions and knowing who he's got next, do you have a question you would like to ask Spencer Boyd?
Yep. So first off, congratulations, Spencer, getting the truck full year truck ride. Is Grunt Style on for the full year or just select races?
is, what is it? Grunt
style, I believe.
Grunt style, yeah.
For the whole year or just a handful of races? I'll make sure I write that down.
So me and Spencer met at the bar at the Hilton across from Daytona last January.
That
sounds like a good story. Tell us about it.
So him and Matt Wallace were at go-karts when me and this kid Nick Egan that I was talking about earlier, we were down in Florida at the ARCA series testing. Matt and Spencer, I guess, just got kicked out, and me and Nick were to follow. We were playing with the governors on the go-karts, and we got thrown out. After
I like playing with the governors. You weren't making them more restrictive from what I'm hearing.
Ripping springs out and ripping restrictor plates.
Yep. So I come back to the hotel. I wanted to get a beer, and I don't think Spencer was old enough to drink yet. And so we're going back, and I'm like, "Hey, weren't you those two guys that just got thrown out of the golf track?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, what's going on?" We had to talk, and they were testing too, and I didn't realize that I think it was Matt Wallace or Mike Wallace's kid was him, and then Spencer was his buddy. They were hanging out down there, so it was kind of cool. Small world.
Yeah, for sure. So Matt Wallace is Mike Wallace's kid.
Yep. I believe he's still doing short track stuff, but
yeah. Well, I mean, everybody knows who Steve Wallace is, obviously.
Yep. So that's his cousin.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Engineers figure that cousin stuff out pretty quick.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Man. All right.
So are we still recording right now?
In a way. So
only on Periscope.
Actually, not. I didn't stop that recording. So let me stop that recording. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, and see you next time.
What?